It is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. Welcome to Veda. Well, today is World Autism Day or World Autism Acceptance Day. Certain puzzle piecelers might try to tell you it's World Autism Awareness Day, but like I said yesterday, or in Japanese, de, or in German, etch, or in Latin, bilabial fricative. Actually, I don't think that's actually Latin. So I think I'll discuss something that's not really related to autism. Well, I guess it's tangentially related to autism because, my autistic brain controls, or at least influences, what I like and don't like, so I guess everything I do is at least tangentially related to autism. But I wanted to talk about why I'm glad Easter is over, and this Sunday. The last day of March, the day just before this begins, was Easter, and there are way too many things happening around the same time. That's another video. But the reason I'm glad Easter is over is that I'm in way too many Ghostbusters Facebook groups, and this meme, or variations thereof, they kept sharing the Ghostbusters busting Jesus, either as he's resurrecting or sometimes as he's ascending into heaven. And there are also other variations on that basic theme, like the Ghostbusters busting Patrick Swayze or busting the Jedi ghosts at the end of Return of the Jedi. And just overdone. It was, well, actually, what humor is subjective. It's the most subjective substance in the universe. But, well, a lot of things bother me, especially about the Jesus one. It kind of blasphemous. I don't know. I usually refer to myself as getting more and more agnostic as time goes on, but I was raised Christian, not fundevangelical, just Presbyterian. It wasn't too crazy, although my mother was a little crazy during the Satanic Panic. She did throw away the Procter & Gamble products, and she, even when it wasn't considered satanic, but she did take my D&D books and eventually burnt them. She would take away my special interests to force me into doing the things I didn't want to do and quite often wouldn't do anyway, because I'm just angry now because she took away my special interest. Hey, I guess this is autism related after all. Usually she just took the things away for a while until I did my homework or my grades improved or they gave up or whatever. Although she did throw away a lot of my comic books, although she called them cartoons. She also says that I have sugar and that I got cataracts. Not cataracts, sorry. I'm... Terminology needs to be correct. And her argument was that, well, don't you want to be a cartoonist? Yeah, but a comic strip artist is called a cartoonist. That doesn't mean a comic strip is called a cartoon. A one-panel cartoon is called a cartoon. A comic book is not called a cartoon, and a comic book artist is not called... Sometimes they're called cartoonists, but more often they're called comic book artists. I'm digressing here. I think another reason why is that, well, first of all, hey, how is that funny that the good guys are doing something bad? And also it implies that they just go patrolling like a bad Thunderbirds comic strip. They're work for hire. It's who you're gonna call. You call them and then you pay them. And some might argue, well, what about that episode of The Real Ghostbusters, Xmas Marks the Spot, where they accidentally go through a time-space portal without realizing it and bust the ghosts of Christmas before they can convince Ebenezer Scrooge to change his ways. And all three of them are there at once, because otherwise the plot wouldn't work, but that could be no prized. Winston points out, I always thought that was a story. I guess in this universe, it's a story based on a real-life event, and Charles Dickens took some liberties. Maybe he thought all three ghosts showing up at once and then taking turns to bring them back, and then the next person who is just waiting there. And it's more dramatic to have them show up when Scrooge convinces himself, well, maybe it wasn't true. Oh my goodness! Something I'd forgotten about that episode. Some of the language from the book is in there, so good job, Joe Michael Straczynski. Well, they're almost patrolling there, but they hear a ghostly howl, they see a ghost coming out of a building, and then they pick up a high PKE reading, so they actually enter private property. It's not like, I'm picking up something, let's break into somebody's house and bust something, which is what would have to have happened with Ghost. And Scrooge begs them for help. Actually, he demands they help him. Well, don't just stand there, man! Do something! And again, they demand payment, and Scrooge gives them what is a pittance to him, but Ray notices that the mint condition 1837 shilling is worth a lot of money. So They are actually paid for their work. I guess some of the Jedi ones are also paid for their work by Palpatine, who we just saw die, insert obvious joke, and they realize that they did a bad thing, and they correct their error. And there's also some character stuff for Peter, who has hated Christmas because of his bad past experiences with it, not unlike Scrooge. It's not just, ha ha, the good guys did something awful. It's funny because it's offensive. The end. Okay, I feel a little better now. All right, well, I guess that's enough. Well, let me check my notes here. I might have something else I wanted to talk about. Well, I'm not really looking forward to May the 4th. At least I'm not on quite as many Star Wars groups. You'd think they'd have taken that sign down by now and replaced it with a permanent Spirit Halloween sign, right?